Okay, so I really happy to be here today with you to start this day. I really like people who strive for excellence and spend their weekends with on such activities as Bacon. So let's start today. We will be talking about what is BA role and activities on each project stage, and what are tasks, techniques, what deliverables expected from the BA, and also I probably help you with some tools. So usually we need to start, with some interaction activity. It's like interaction activity comes here and then the agenda. And even though I know that the latest trends of giving the speech tells about engaging the audience with all that stuff like putting question and using Mentimeters and so on. So I'll skip that part because I think you are motivated enough in case we all gathered here today. And there also will be no agenda for this talk because there is just a goal. And my goal is that after this talk, you will structure your knowledge of business analysis tasks and typical BA deliverables on each stage of Agile product, and get an understanding of what to consider when choosing techniques, tools, and documents format for each stage, and find out the root of the BA pain points on your projects and eager to do the extra mile to fix it. So my name is Ievgeniia and I am Chief Business Analyst at Epam. I am CBAP, which stands for Certified Business Analysis Professional, the highest recognition from IBA. I am a safe product owner and product manager certified in Skilled Agile, and I am certified SAP e-commerce analyst as well. I have more than 9 years of experience in IT, performing business analysis, product owner, product management, and consultancy activities. And I was part of success of more than 20 e-commerce solutions in different domains that were delivered for enterprise companies from the United States, from UK, and also European countries. And I'm eager to share my experience and lessons learned with you. And I want to pay your attention that all the information I'll be sharing today is not like golden standard for any company, for any BA. So I'll just share from the perspective of my own experience and from the perspective of 3 companies I had the chance to work. So let's start. Let me give some context first. So let's have a look on software development lifecycle. You're probably all aware about it. So according to different sources, software development lifecycle includes from 5 to 7 stages. The shortest is requirements, requirements gathering, solution design, implementation, and test and maintenance. So I like this one, but actually all you can find is correct enough to use it. And also the acronym for that is SDLC, which can be moved to software or system or solution development lifecycle. So all of the stuff also you can meet in internet, and they okay. So now let's see what is expected from business analyst on each stage of software development lifecycle. But actually BA work starts even before that. BA can be involved in pre-sales activities, but it is a huge topic, and process is significantly different from company to company. So I'll skip it. I'll put it out of scope of this talk and probably keep it for the next time. What I want you to focus on is project discovery. So note that there is a big difference between project discovery and product discovery, because goals of these two stages are different and techniques will be different as well. And let's see what the BA activities on project discovery are. So discovery sounds like something exciting, yes. What comes to your mind when you hear the discovery phase? I believe something like this, because all business analysts want to participate in discovery. Usually it's conducted on site with business trips, with meeting customers. So it's really exciting stuff. But usually it turns out like this, because yeah, still exciting, but really difficult and exhausting. So what are the activities on this on the discovery? And what are the goals? So let's start from the goals. So the goals are meet stakeholders, define their roles and responsibilities, define objectives and success criteria for the project, elicit high-level solution requirements, and also you need to outline the scope of project. So it can be either, so in case you are starting from scratch, it can be like MVP, or it will be the scope of changes that must be done in first release. You also need to agree on timelines. You need to agree on team setup. And of course, usually you have someone from project management, like delivery manager or something like that, but you need to contribute in team setup as well. And also you need to agree on project governance. So if it will be managed on client side, or if management is on the development team side, so like on outsource. So it's also very important to highlight who is responsible for what. And length of discovery can vary from 2-3 days to several months, depending on complexity and budget. Okay. So what are the deliverables on the discovery phase? And I want to start with the deliverables because, and then we will see what activities needs to be done by business analyst to make these deliverables happen. So first of all, it's high-level scope of solution requirements. They must be prioritized and approved. Then it is very important to make and write explicitly all the assumptions on the dependencies and constraints, because based on the deliverables from discovery, team will estimate and give some commitment to customer. So of course, on the discovery phase, you don't have all the details, like low-level requirements, and it's obvious like something can come up when you move to more detailed level. So it is very important to put the assumptions based on which development team provided their estimations, and also dependencies and constraints, because in case it happen like solution is not feasible, it also must be agreed, like what to do next must be agreed before that. And it's also about managing risks, because you need to do some proactive activities to manage the risks. Then solution architecture diagram. So of course, business analysts do not create it from by himself, but he or she can contribute to solution architecture diagram as well. So usually you have solution architecture guy, or you have some dev team lead or someone from technical side who can help you with that, and who will be clarifying the technical details. But usually BA are better in creation of diagrams and creation of documentation, and you need to put all that stuff together. Then another deliverable is stakeholder list with their roles and responsibilities within the project, or RACI matrix. And RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consultant, and informed. And responsibles are those who responsible for implementation, for delivery of this project. Accountable, so basically responsible, everyone who contributes. Accountable is the one who is decision maker, and it is very important that you have one decision maker. So you can have multiple stakeholders, but you need to have only one decision maker. Consultant is like subject matter experts, and informed, so those who just wanted to be on track. Then usually we create vision, we create roadmap, we create risks, not create risks, like create the list of risks. And we also create supporting documentation, like wireframes, personas, user journey maps, and so on and so on. So it depends on basically on the project you are involved in. Then MVP scope or existing solution assessment results. So in case you are building from scratch, you put in MVP. MVP stands for minimal viable product. So the minimal scope that delivers value, and in case you implement it, it can be already used by the end users. And about solution assessment results. So it's, for example, you have existed, like not your client has existing solution, but they want to change something, or they want to do replatforming, or then they want to improve some processes or something like that. Then you need to do this assessment on the discovery, define the to-be state, define the this state, and define the transition requirements. So what needs to be done to move from the this to the to-be. And of course, scope of work. So also not only BA creating scope of work, but BA contributes to scope of work, because in scope of work you will have functional, non-functional requirements, and all that stuff. So yeah, basically that's it. Okay, what to do, like how to conduct the discovery. I really like this framework for any types of activities, and it makes difficult stuff much easier. So in case we are talking about preparation for the discovery, you need to, of course, analyze the input, so all the documentation, all the you can get everything you can from the sales team. You can search the site in Google in case it is open to public. You can search by yourself. You can check what technology I used using plugin in Google Chrome. If it is like B2B solution and it is not open to public, so you can Google and probably find some information about this company and so on. Also, it is okay to request some information from customer before the discovery. So maybe they can already have the list of their pain points and they can share. Another stuff you need to have before the discovery, it is stakeholders list. And also you need to find out their availability. After that, you prepare a discovery agenda based on the discovery timeline, and you need to schedule meetings. Agree with team who is responsible for what with your team, with your development team, or with the team who is going with you to discovery. You need to agree who will cover which topic, who will be writing meeting notes, who will be sending like wrap-ups after each meetings, and that's because, you know, it looks really unprofessional when you start arguing about your responsibilities when you are already on the discovery and with customer. So you need to prepare a discovery deck. It's like it can be like PowerPoint slides with your questions there, and you also can do some questionnaire in advance in case you need to gather like information from the big amount of people. And also it is important, if you can reach someone from customer side, ask what deliverables they expect after the discovery from you. Because it can be, sometimes it can be surprising, you know. So in case you don't have any access to anyone, then you need to address this question anyway, but in the beginning of the discovery itself. Okay, and in case you are the lucky one and you have on-site visit to client, you also need to prepare for business trip, starting from all that stuff like documents, tickets, but also do not forget your socket adapters, because personally I had this issue and it was really not good, because going to US and you know, we have another types of socket, and it was a real issue. Also you need to investigate where are you basically going, and what clothes appropriate in the client office, just to not look, you know, like foolish. Okay, also make sure that meeting rooms are booked, checked, that there is everything you need for the plant activities like board, markers, monitors, stickers, and all that stuff, because otherwise you will be wasting your time when it's already, when you should elicit requirements, you will be searching for something you need. And I have been on 3 on-site discovery, so USA and Italy, and I can say that online discovery is less exhausting, but definitely is less effective. So in case you have opportunity to meet your stakeholders in person, use this opportunity. It's very, very helpful for building rapport. Okay, so most probably discovery on the project nowadays looks like that. In that case, take into account the time zone differences and the time zones of all the participants, because otherwise it can happen that no one come, or you know, like they send someone not you need. Think about adding more interactive activities to keep them tuned, because when you're conducting online, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, there is some meeting going, but guys doing some other work, like answering emails or having other discussions, and so that's no good. So make sure you see them and make sure you have some shared space to do everything you need to do. So think about the necessary software. So usually for that stuff, you use like online whiteboards, like Miro or Mural, whatever you want. Okay, and now we are going to conducting the discovery phase. So usually this starts with the kickoff meeting. When you introduce it, where you introduce to customer, then you introduce agenda, and also need to tell them about the goals of the discovery, the outcomes of the discovery, and the process, how you will be interacting with them. So here are appropriate elicitation techniques like interviews, observations, interface analysis, surveys. So of course, requirements workshops. And share the info about each of the upcoming session in advance. Because in case, like all those people gathered and you start and ask questions and they like, oh my God, we don't know. Because they are not prepared, and to make them prepared, you need to let them know what you will be asking about. So it's like in case I ask you something about your, I don't know, your project, but not like from what you are working on day-to-day basis, you maybe need to say, okay, I will check with the team. The same for them, so you probably will not get the right answer. Also, there is another pain point when, for example, in your stakeholder list, this stakeholder is marked as a subject matter expert for something, I don't know, for example, for some ERP system. And you are starting asking him about like the processes and all the stuff, and he is like, I don't know. So what does it mean? So it can happen that this guy is just, I don't know, some developer of this ERP system, and he may be not aware of what you want to get from him. So it is very important to highlight explicitly what you will be asking. So the topic should not be like, let's discuss ERP system or integration to ERP, because for that they will give you that technical guy and they will be right. But that's not what you need. So put explicitly what kind of information you want to get. So probably you need, I don't know, some people from support team, because they are aware about. Then, conduct requirement solicitation workshops, and you can use whatever technique you want. Always send meeting notes, because it is very important. And if possible, also ask if you can record the session. And another important thing is to highlight, to understand if like what expected from the BA. So it is your responsibility to find that out. Okay. When we conducted our discovery, we need to confirm our dissertation results. So it's not only sending meeting notes, it's also getting feedback that yes, it is right, yes, that's correct. You need to prioritize solution requirements. So for example, define the scope of MVP or define the scope of release. Then you need to confirm timelines, confirm stakeholders' responsibilities and the way you are going to communicate, confirm who is decision maker on what deliverables expected from you during the implementation phase. So all that stuff needs to be discussed when you are discovering. Also, you need to present results of the discovery. So it can be like PowerPoint and workshop. Also, you can include there anything you need. So in case you manage to do some wireframes, during discovery, great. In case you managed to do some process diagrams and already identified which part of this process needs improvement, that's great. So present that. And of course, there will left some open questions. So it's not like, okay, we conducted discovery, that's it. No, that doesn't work that way. So you need to have the list of open questions and action items, and be able to follow up on them, and make sure that people know that you're expecting some more information from them. Okay, now we go to the planning phase. So the goal of planning phase is to set the rules and introduce them set the rules and plan the work. So on planning activities, which are planning activities for BA. So plan business analysis activities and estimate BA effort. Estimation of BA effort depends on the level of requirements, details, product complexity, BA experience in domain, BA seniority. Set up BA information tools. So decide where you will be storing requirements. Create document templates, choose the format and tools. Will it be software requirement specification, user stories, use cases, whatever you want. Then plan communication process. What information to whom and when must be communicated. Plan business analysis governance, approval, who will approve your requirements, prioritization, who will prioritize the backlog. Plan change management. It should be done in advance because when change comes, it's too late to define the process for it. And think about how BA performance is measured on this project, because when you will be reporting, it's very important to understand. Okay, what are deliverables on the planning? So this project roadmap with timelines and milestones, also a roadmap for BA work. Definition of ready, definition of done. Definition of ready, it's what criteria must requirements satisfied to be ready to take into the sprint. Then glossary, low-level requirements documentation, prioritized, and also with dependencies. You need to provide document templates, requirement management plan, change template, change request template, change log, change management plan, risk log, communication and collaboration plan, finalized tracing matrix. So from the activities, it's very clear what are deliverables. So how often we need to do, all that stuff. As you can see on the Agile, we have cycle and we have planning phase. And planning phase repeats each iteration. And on a cadence, it looks like this. So we can come to conclusions that if BA starts project from scratch, then it first to set up the rules in the beginning, and then follow and improve them on ongoing basis. And another stuff is planning for iteration. So in addition to project planning, we need to plan each iteration, like what work will be done in each iteration. Okay, and talking about iteration planning, for example, in Scrum, we have dedicated Scrum ceremony for that, like sprint planning. So what must be bring to this meeting? Prioritize backlog, validated requirements, which means they must be approved. On some projects, you also have grooming session done before planning, where requirements communicated to the team. And at this stage, your requirements must be satisfy definition of ready criteria you set on planning stage. And of course, in case you have designs, they must be finished and validated. Okay, now we are going to design phase, and design is not only about the UI, it is about the solution design. At the design stage, team designs the solution in order to satisfy, in order to that solution will satisfy requirements. So, and sometimes we also can come up with some diagrams, can help dev team document solution architecture if there is no dedicated solution architect. And the output of so what basically like those solution requirements architecture documents. So it is a description of components, modules, subsystems, and interaction between them. Also entities that are present in system and relation between them. So all that stuff also can be documented by business analyst. Okay, and about design phase deliverables. So the output would be the new system description in case you're starting from scratch, like components, modules, subsystems, and so on. Or on some projects, we also do API documentation, documenting requests and the response, given sequence diagrams, and so on. So also happens. There are some projects where is no UI, and all the work done by BA is about the system integration and API documentation. Okay, implementation or development phase. This is stage of construction when development team writes the code of software, which after this phase must be working software and testable. So what are activities of BA at design? Sorry, yeah, at implementation stage. Sorry, I have mistakes there. So you need to consult development and QA. You also might be asked to approve some test cases. And here you have the time to prepare for the next iteration. So you conducting requirement solicitation, you document requirements for the upcoming sprints, you do requirements management on the ongoing basis, you do backlog management, prioritizing items, you update risk log, analyzing unknowns, constraints, dependencies, delays. After that, you can set probability and impact and define the risk handling strategy, like avoid, transfer, mitigate, or accept it. And what are BA deliverables on implementation? So those are up to date. All the everything like which all the documentation supported by BA must be up to date. So requirements, traceability matrix, risk log, RASI matrix, and all that stuff. So everything you planned on the planning stage, here it's time to apply. Okay, test phase. So what do BA do at the test phase? So in case it is just test phase of the iteration, then BA provide acceptance testing. And in case it is test phase of the project, like before the release, so BA conducting UAT activities, and usually BA is the one who drives the UAT, and he plan UAT, create participants list, conducting UAT, then doing triage of issues found during those sessions. Okay, what are deliverables? Basically, it's working software verified by business analyst. So after QA testing, also business analyst must see if it what's needed. Okay, and now we are going to the deploy and review. So usually here, business analyst demonstrating iteration results for stakeholders in case something issues found, tracking those issues, and sometimes also preparing high-level release notes, not too detailed, but just to give the understanding of functionality that is going to be released. And supported maintenance, the last one. So here it's about creation of support documentation for end users and business users. You can create like video tutorials or just text. And also once like the software released, you need to consult business users on how it works. And sometimes you resolve like L1 support team issues. So it can happen that customers ask for something that support doesn't know, and then you need to help them as well. Okay, basically we are running out of time, but I have super bonus in the end. I would like to share some tools I use in my work. It will be very quickly, and after that you also, I think you will receive the presentation and can dig deeper into that. There are some tools for surveys and questionnaires. There are some tools for conducting conferences, some tools for whiteboarding like Miro, Mural, tools from conducting Scrum ceremonies, Trello, Easy Retro, Planning Poker Online, and so on. Then for interactive presentations and quizzes, you can use Kahoot, Mentimeter, and all the stuff that engage your customers. Then for modeling, it's well known Draw.io, Lucidchart, Microsoft Visio, MindMeister. There are also many others, but I will not list them all. For wireframes and prototyping, we can use Actuary, it's my favorite one, Sketch, Envision app, which allows you to link the screens between each other. And for advanced UI, it's Figma and Zeppelin. And for documentation, Confluence, I really like Confluence plus Jira set, so it's great. But also, in case you can't get license for those, you can use even Google Docs. So the most important stuff there is that it supports versioning. Basically, that's it. Yeah, that was like a really quick overview of all the activities conducted, but I hope it became more clear what is expected from VA during the software development lifecycle.
That's cool. Yeah, Ievgeniia, thank you very much for your presentation and for your talk. Друзі, можливо, в когось є запитання. Ви можете розм'ютитись, задати питання усно, або написати його в чаті, і я його передам Євгенії. Okay, so we have a question. How the scope of work should look like after the discovery phase? Is it just high-level epics description or more detailed description, such a user stories?
Okay, yeah, of course it depends on how long your discovery lasted, because so you can put what you have. So in case you have the list of user stories after the discovery, that's really cool. And you can provide like appendix 1 with all that list. Because the more detailed list you have, the more accurate estimates are, and you are more on the safe side. But usually you don't have ability to create user stories during the discovery. So feature list is okay, and you must highlight what is in scope and what is out of scope, because usually you have the long list of features wanted by your stakeholders, but when you do prioritization and put in like the baseline, then you need to specify it explicitly in the scope of work that this part will be delivered and this part will be delivered after this release. So additional scope of work will be created for the next iteration or whatever. So feature list is okay.
Cool. Thank you very much. There are lots of thanks to you. Yeah, thanks a lot, Gret.
Thank you.
Overview and of activities and deliverables. Thank you for the very practical presentation. Thank you very much. Guys, maybe you have any other questions or maybe comments that you would like to type or to tell us, to tell Ievgeniia actually. Okay, there is another question. I'm not sure if you can see the chat or not, but I can tell. Okay, what about the project estimation? Might the materials prepared during the discovery phase be a stronger ground for the detailed estimation?
Okay, after discovery for estimation, you can, okay, after discovery, you have high level scope, right? So you can, of course, you can provide some estimation, but not the final, because after requirements are specified in more details, then estimation will be done with, before each iteration. And it is very important to have those re-estimation. And in case you have low level, like a high level of details, like you don't know exactly all of them. So you can use rough order of magnitude technique. Not even you, but but the team. You can estimate in t-shirt size. So you can compare one to another. So for example, it is pretty much clear that, for example, this feature like is the smallest, right? And then you can take another feature and considering, okay, is it bigger than this or not? And you like put in all these features by like putting in groups. And then you say, okay, this will be like 1 story point, this will be 3 story points, this will be 5 story points, and this will be 100 story points, because there are many uncertainties and it can turn out to something really big. And it's like the sign that you need to get more details about those big. So that's how you can estimate on discovery, but of course it must be written in scope of work, that in case something come up or some risks come true, then you need to re-estimate, and estimate can be changed. So this is when you're keeping you and your team on the safe side.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for your answer. Maybe we have another questions or comments. We can wait just for a second. Okay, maybe that's it for a moment. Ievgeniia, thank you for your time. Thank you for attending our conferences and make such a great talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.